The Dakota Access Pipeline runs 1,172 miles with a 12 to 30-inch diameter, starting in Bismarck, North Dakota, traveling through South Dakota, Iowa, and finally ending its journey in Patoka, Illinois. As the map shows, the pipeline is being constructed just north of the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. This land that the pipeline is being placed on is land that was agreed to be shared between the native tribe as well as the United States in the Treaty of Laramie in 1868. This treaty is also known as the Sioux Treaty of 1868. The tribes do not want this pipeline to be placed in their lands and have raised questions about how the Army Corps gained approval to issue Energy Transfer Partners a building permit. The underground route the pipe is taking at Lake Oahe is half a mile upstream from the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe's reservation and could cause serious harm should a pipe burst because the pipe is to contain oil. In order to gain a better understanding of the Native people's perspective, we interviewed 2 Native women at the University of Missouri.
It's interesting that our water is compromised when we hold it to such high regard and high value.
We hold water in high regard because we know its purpose, and whereas other people, especially in America, we hold oil. Obviously the pipeline is more important than everybody south of the Missouri River.
So there's a differing of values in terms of what maybe Western culture, and I know we're kind of encompassed in Western culture, but I think we're a subset because we are technically a sovereign nation, that we retain some of those values if you're close to the reservation or to where your tribe originated from. But you see this disconnect between what Randy is saying is this kind of prize or monetary value around oil, and how that supersedes kind of the basic necessities that every human being needs to live, which is water. And so it's when you have such high value attached to something that isn't really helping you live a good quality life. It's a struggle for Native and Indigenous peoples to kind of grasp that concept, because we've been living and using the land and kind of been living in harmony with it for so long that it's just difficult to understand why someone would put such high value on something that's not very necessary or beneficial for us and future generations.
According to the Standing Rock Sioux website, they say they are fighting the Dakota Access Line project in honor of our future generations. We fight this pipeline to protect our water, our sacred places, and all living beings, they state on their website. The tribe filed litigation in federal court to challenge the actions of the Army Corps, undo the approval of the pipeline, and enforce their federally protected rights and interests. On the other side of the pipeline controversy, the Energy Transfer Partners believe America's free market system should remain. The U.S. is known as the land of opportunity. Our free market system has allowed our country to succeed, and the energy sector has been a large part of this success. In addition, many regulations have been put into place over the years to ensure the safety of lines such as the Dakota Access Pipeline. This pipeline will not be the first to cross shared native ground or go under bodies of water. This is due to the fact that pipelines are the safest way to transport hazardous materials such as oil. Lastly, the Energy Transfer Partners do not believe the legal approval process for the Dakota Access Pipeline is cause for concern. Altogether, more than 1,000 certificates, permits, and approvals were granted for the pipeline. This is equivalent to 1 permit for every mile of the pipeline. The Dakota Access Pipeline was carefully reviewed and approved by environmental and regulatory agencies in all 4 states where the pipeline will operate. These agencies include the South Dakota Public Utilities Commission, the Illinois Commerce Commission, North Dakota Public Service Commission, the Iowa Utilities Board, and the United States Army Corps of Engineers. After analyzing both sides of the Dakota Access Pipeline controversy, the following ethical questions are raised. Is the pipeline safe? Is it ethical to construct a pipeline on Indigenous treaty land? Is it ethical to deny the construction permits to companies who went through a fair legal process? Should we care about the interests, values, and rights of the few or of the many? Before we judge too harshly the morality of the Standing Rock Sioux, we must critically consider the glasses we use to see the world. Where, how, and by whom were these philosophical lenses created? From history, we know that these lenses have their own biases no matter how clear and rational they may seem. Should the Standing Rock Sioux have to bear the risk so that millions of Americans can turn on their lights and drive their cars? Should we sacrifice few for the many in a utilitarian point of view, or should we consider Rawls' justice theory? or other ethical frameworks. A joint statement from the Department of Justice, the Department of the Army, and the Department of the Interior regarding Standing Rock Sioux Tribe versus the United States Army Corps of Engineers stated, "This case has highlighted the need for a serious discussion on whether there should be nationwide reform with respect to considering tribes' views on these types of infrastructure projects." The Department of Justice said that they will look to improve the existing framework for infrastructure consultations, as well as take input from tribes as to additional legislation that should be added.